But you mentioned working on Doctor's Advocate in New York, and you know the project name versus not having Dre on the album. You know, I've heard you talk about it a few times, but what was the real reason that he wasn't on that album?
Because he didn't want to be. He sided with 50 for business purposes. He had to. 50 was signed to Aftermath and Shady. Eminem signed to Aftermath and is Shady. And Dre and everybody signed to Jimmy Iovine. And at that time, like Eminem, wasn't nobody bigger than Eminem or 50 except like Nelly or some shit, or you know, Jay-Z. So of course, at that time I didn't understand it. I understand now that like a smart man would pick, you know, the breadwinner. And so everybody kind of sided with 50, but I still had a budget and I still had an album to record, and I didn't get dropped because of the success of documentary. Jimmy Iovine is like not dumb. So it's like, we're not gonna like lock in on this album, but we're gonna give him what he needs to finish it and see what he comes with. And I recorded the whole album. I already know I had a classic, and the last song I recorded on it was One Blood. And I was just mad. It was almost like J. Cole's like Middle Child. You know what I'm saying? I was just mad. And so I got on that, and you know, I'm the doctor's advocate. Shot you. But I was speaking about myself. Like Dre shot me because he like kind of like went away from game. And that shit, like, you know, at that time, man, I grew up to Dre. You know, Dre's from Compton, so I felt, I was hurt by like the distance, and so yeah, I went in, man.
And on Better Days, which is one of my personal favorite
You
songs.
love Better?
Better Days is probably my favorite game track.
That's crazy.
And you say there that you hadn't talked to Dre and Eminem in 5 years at that point. What was the last conversation that you guys had that was the 5 years prior?
Well, the last conversation I had with him was like where I wanted to position the verses for We Ain't on the documentary. And I mean, it's not like you just talk to Eminem every day. Like, M does his own shit. I'm pretty sure that like nobody talks to M every day except probably like Haley or some shit. But you know, M is like, you know, rebel for the cause, and he just like, he do his own thing. But yeah, Dre, I talked to Dre like from after the time that I didn't talk to him. I thought that like it was a thing. I thought that me and Dre were like done. He wasn't. And I was just like being managed and just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but then I end up getting in the studio with Dre, I think on LAX or something, just kicking it. And he was like, I never went away. You were on some bullshit and I'm not on some bullshit. I did all that with Dre and Q. We went through that. I'm good on that. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my 30s. Dre was in his 30s and shit. That's crazy. But yeah, he's like, yo, I stepped away from all that. So all that bullshit, and I had to distance myself. So I understood it. But he said, me and your relationship is always going to be the same as it was the last time we seen each other.